Role at the United Nations over the years. We're joined by Teng Jianqun. He in Beijing. He's from the China Institute of International Studies. Let's start there. How have you seen China's role change at the United Nations rather since it became a permanent member of the Security Council?
Actually, the role of China, played in the United Nations can be divided into three parts or three stages. First, China was denied, and China had no right to, say anything in this organization. And after, resume its membership, of course, China, took itself as the leader or the representative of the developing country or third world. And I think China has become more and more active, in this organization just since they opened up and reform. And while facing the new challenges, for example, anti-terrorism and non-proliferation, I think in these days China has more, active in these areas. And China did have a good cooperation with the United States, Russia, and other, members in this organization.
Mr. Teng, what would you say are the main goals China wants to achieve within the UN?
Of course, it's China's long-standing position to have more equal and square, world for all the member states in this organization. And China, this time with its fast development, with its sharp increase of political influence and its economy, I think China nowadays maybe say a lot about the equality and the peace and the stability of the international community for all membership in this organization, not only for some individual countries. So I think China promised to give more international public products, not only for China's own development.
You touched on this briefly, but I'd like to go back to it. During the UN General Assembly, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi stressed the importance of the international community working together to fight terrorism around the world. And you touched on that briefly. How have these recent terrorist threats like IS affected China's role within the UN, would you say?
Of course, terrorism has become a very serious challenge for the international community. And as we have witnessed in recent years, there are some connections between the terrorist groups in China and in Middle East. And of course, terrorism is also a very serious challenge for China itself. And China insisted that all the member states should be cooperate and should join together and for the anti-terrorist movement in this campaign. I think no individual countries nowadays can deal with such a serious challenge. So all the members should be united and take this as the common enemy. But I don't think China will follow the U.S. suit, because China has its own position and its own policy, not only to against one and in favor of another. So this is the differences between the the countries between China and the United States. I think China will go on one side will give a very good cooperation and will 100% be in favor of any effort taken by the United Nations, and on the other side, China will also insist on the equal rights for any sovereign state.
Teng Jianqun joining us from Beijing. Thank you so much.